say? The story is remarkably minimalistic and cryptic. But firstly, according to our sages, as cited by Rashi, Yaakov returned by himself after transferring his family and all their possessions because he left behind some small, insignificant vessels. This is a famous idea. It's called pachim ketanim, small little stuff. It sounds like you move the contents of a 3-story house to another state, and then you go all the way back because you remember that you left some Tupperware, you forgot some Tupperware or containers in a corner kitchen cabinet. So that's about that, these small vessels. And as far as the wrestling man is concerned, according to our sages, famously, this was no man at all. This was no wrestler, no WWF entertainer or impersonator. This was none other than an angel. Not just any angel, but the guardian angel, the appointed angel of Esav himself. See, every nation has its own angel, called a sar, like a minister, who represents that nation's interest before the Creator. So ostensibly, Esav's sar, his angel, came to fight with Yaakov in order to prevent him from fulfilling his mission. Now, we're going to be talking a lot in the next few minutes about angels. The study of angels is called angelology, but actually, our concern is very, very human, and it's with the human side of things. There are powerful messages here. The Torah doesn't just tell us stories. There are eternal truths here. This is no ordinary struggle, and it has to apply to each and every one of us. So how do we understand all of this? Firstly, what was this fight all about? If this was Esav's angel, then presumably the fight was over Yaakov's right to receive the blessings that had been designated for Esav. And this is coming up again now because they're about to be confronted. The two of them are going to confront each other again. Now, at the conclusion of the fight, Yaakov says to the angel, I won't release you until you bless me. And Rashi explains, what does he mean, bless me? Yaakov means acknowledge the blessings which my father blessed me, which Esav disputes. So no, it's no ordinary struggle, and even on the simplest level, it becomes clear from the words of our sages that this fight symbolizes Israel's struggle with Esav and the powers of Esav till the end of time, till the final indisputable and unimpeachable clarification, proof of Israel's right to the blessings. And just when would that be? There are strong prophetic elements expressed by this drama. This protracted fight taking until dawn alludes to the dawning of Israel's redemption. So this fight is eternal. And so far, the levels that we're discussing are actually relatively simple when taken into the context of the vast depth of insight plumbed by our sages on this topic. Now, a few points according to the Midrashim, our sages point out. What's the idea of this Yaakov remained alone? Gosh, those words are actually reminiscent of a prophecy that we'll find much later in the book of Numbers, delivered by that heathen prophet of renown, the wicked Bilam, Numbers 23 and verse 9. He says, behold, it is a nation that will dwell alone and not be reckoned among the nations, as indeed we see the fulfillment of that prophecy throughout the generations with Israel, persecuted and alone, the nations hating the eternal nation with an eternal hatred. But our sages understood this battle as a revelation of power. The revelation of Yaakov's ability, hence Israel's ability, to stand alone and deal with nations greater and more powerful than himself and emerge, as the verse in Bilam's prophecy continues, and not accounted in the nations, and the Midrash expresses, and Yaakov remained alone, and a man wrestled with him, is connected to Isaiah 2, and Hashem will be exalted alone at that time. Now, despite the fact that the Torah is so sparing here in providing information, actually, Torah is very instructive to us as to what spiritual levels this battle reached and corresponds to. And thus we read, he battled with him, right? A man wrestled with him, and the word in Hebrew is vayeavek. Vayeavek ish imo, and a man wrestled with him. And the root of that word that we're translating here as wrestling, vayeavek, aleph bet kuf, the root of it is avak, which basically means dust. So there's a very deep teaching here that our sages have, that it teaches us this verse that the dust that they kicked up with their struggles, their feet were kicking up dust that reached till the throne of glory It's a very famous and enigmatic statement, whatever that means, because God doesn't sit on a chair, but there's an idea of a spiritual concept. We have to see what it represents, the throne of glory. So the dust from their fight reached, obscured, as it were, actually obscured the throne of glory. See, there's another verse in the first chapter of the book of Nahum. It states, verse 3, Hashem, the Lord, is slow to anger and great in power, but he will surely not acquit the Lord. His way is with a tempest and with a storm, and cloud is the dust of his feet. So the holy and famous Maharsha commentator explains that the concept of the throne of glory symbolizes the root of the souls of humanity, man. His soul is hewn from underneath the throne of glory, which is an idea, meaning that the soul of man in its source is very lofty, and it has a goal, a mission in this world, basically to validate itself, the place that it comes from, and to spread light in this world. So this battle was actually about the chosenness of Israel, which was disputed by Esav, whose mission is to uplift and rectify man who was created from underneath the throne of glory. And thus the dust of this fight was even obscuring the throne of glory, okay? Now this battle goes all the way to the root of man, as we're pointing out, to the throne of glory, to clarify the divine image in which man, whose soul is hewn from underneath the throne of glory, was created, and his ability to elevate this world with his positive acts. And this battle, in which the throne of glory is involved, right, is reminiscent, reminds me of another battle of sorts, another confrontation according to the Midrashic literature involving the throne of glory, and that's the battle that Moshe had with the ministering angels when he ascended into heaven to receive the Torah. We are taught that the angels sought to banish him. They threatened to cast him out, exclaiming, "What's a mere mortal doing in our midst?" and saying to God, "How could you, God, send your Torah, your eternal Torah, down to earth?" So the Midrash explains, Hashem told Moshe, when Moshe was confounded by the angels kind of ganging up on him, Hashem said to him, hold on to my throne of glory and answer them. And so, as a favorite teaching of mine, Moshe did that. He answered them, and he gave them answers like, when they said, "What are you doing here, and how could you bring the Torah to Israel?" Moshe said, well, the Torah says, for example, honor your father and your mother. Do you have parents? And gave other examples of how the commandments are to be carried out by mitzvot, the commandments are to be carried out by people. So Moshe was proving, as he held on to the throne of glory, source of man's soul, proving to the angels that the Torah was made by God for human beings to keep and not angels. And relevant to our point here, the idea being that in that instance, the sages intend to illustrate that the act of holding on to the throne of glory, which is the root of the souls, gave Moshe the power to overcome the angels, because it proves that man was created to be higher than the angels. For as the Talmud states in Tractate Chulin, the angels cannot recite their song until Israel first sings their song every day. And with that strength, Moshe overcame the angels. So too, in our Parsha, did Yaakov subdue the angel as his struggle reached the throne of glory, and it was proven to the angel the heights to which Yaakov's spiritual stature reaches. So the angel says, "Release me, for the dawn has risen, day has dawned." Again, not a lot of details provided here by the verse. Our sages reconstruct a conversation between Yaakov and the angel. Remember, we're not studying angelology here, we're actually studying what the Torah intends for us to take home, change our lives. Because man, we just proved, is at the center, not the angels. So don't get bogged down with a metaphor. Sages reconstruct the conversation between Yaakov and the angel says, "Release me, for the day is dawn." Yaakov says to him, he says, "What, are you a thief or a highwayman or a vampire that you're afraid of the morning? Like, what is this, release me because it's the morning?" So he says to him, "I'll tell you the truth, I'm an angel." Don't forget how deep every teaching is of our sages, how much is in between these lines and what these words mean. So the angel says, "Actually, I'm an angel. Why did I say release me now? Because since the day that I was created, my turn to sing did not come until now. Till this very moment. I gotta go. I gotta go now. I gotta sing my song to Hashem." So just now is the moment he's been waiting for. Yaakov must have thought, exactly, now you got to go sing. I've heard a lot of excuses for getting out of the ring, but really, this is very, very deep. What's the significance? That immediately following Yaakov's struggle with the angel's time came for singing, meaning his entire purpose in the whole divine plan of the scheme of things, his part to play for which he was created is just right now. And you know, the whole concept of singing to the Lord a new song, the whole concept of what it means to sing. We've spoken about this before, how the idea is that every aspect of creation has its own unique song that it sings before Hashem, and the angels can only sing after man sings, because man is the key to everything. So he didn't have the opportunity to do his thing for which his own existence would be validated, this angel, until this moment. So what is that all about? You see, the song of this angel, Esav's guardian, his ally, is actually, obviously, from what we're saying now, a direct result of his confrontation with Yaakov. Until he had his confrontation with Yaakov, he couldn't sing. But now that he was made aware of Yaakov's stature, his time came to sing. So tell me, what do you think that song was? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? If now the moment has come for his song to be sung, that angel of Esav is going to be singing a song in the praise of Israel. And the proof is that Yaakov tries to find out the secret of the song. What is it? Is it an acknowledgement of the blessings? And the angel says to him, and he says to Yaakov, I won't release you until you bless me. And how interesting that the angel needs Yaakov's permission to leave. Yaakov has him. Finally, the angel says to him, your name will no longer be called Yaakov, but Israel. Now, according to this, I can understand the following midrash, another midrashic teaching. It says, he said to him, release me for my time to sing praises to the Holy One, blessed be he has come. Said Rabbi Levi, in the name of Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman, the angel tried to get away with not revealing anything to Yaakov. And he said to him, listen, ministering angels who reveal the secret of God are cast out from their partition. If I reveal it to you, I'll be cast out. Yaakov said, stop, I'm not going to hear another word. You tell me, and I won't release you. So finally he said, I'll reveal to you. I'll reveal to you what you want to know. And if God asks me, why did you reveal it? I'll say, Master of the universe, your prophets make decrees that you can't even cancel yourself. How much more so I can't cancel it? So he told him, he said to Yaakov, God is going to reveal himself to you at Beit El and change your name. That's what happens later in the parsha. So, okay, why is the angel song the mystery of God? What about this song conveys the deepest secrets of the Creator, that it should be forbidden for an angel to reveal its content? If we explain, as we did, that the song of the angel relates to Yaakov's spiritual stature, that he is indeed worthy of the blessings, then I can understand why it would be forbidden for him to reveal it. Because Yaakov, listen carefully, Yaakov has still not proven that worthiness through his own deeds. And didn't he say when he crossed the river, Katonti mikol chasadim, I feel diminished from all your kindness. So he didn't feel worthy yet, that he proved it himself, and until he returns to fulfill his vow, the time hadn't really come yet to reveal that he merited the blessings. And this is what the angel was telling him, that in the future, God is going to reveal it to you and bless you in Beit El and change your name to Israel. So then, why did he do it now? So first of all, what is this referring to, that the angels revealed Hashem's secret and were cast out from their partition? The angel said to Yaakov, I don't want to tell you this, don't force me, but he did force him. Because angels who reveal God's secret are cast away. So what is this referring to? So the commentators on the Midrash explain that this is a reference to those angels. Remember, we're doing angelology here. This is a reference to those angels who revealed to Lot that Sodom was going to be overturned. They weren't supposed to do that. And why was it forbidden for them to reveal to Lot that Sodom was going to be overturned? Because he did not pray for the people of Sodom, as opposed to Avraham, to whom Hashem revealed his intention to destroy Sodom back in Genesis 18 and verse 17. Shall I conceal from Avraham that which I intend to do, and Avraham will be a great and powerful nation, and through him all the peoples of the earth shall be blessed, etc. God wanted Avraham to know the score because he knew that Avraham would pray for them, and indeed that's what he did. The sages teach us here that it is not proper to reveal to a person, for the angels to reveal to a person his level, unless he's going to use it for good. And therefore the angel didn't want to reveal to Yaakov his secret, that in the future the Holy One, blessed be, is going to call him Israel because he strove with the divine and with man and overcame before its time. So why indeed did the angel reveal the blessing to Yaakov? Because he wanted to allude to Yaakov, the great. He wanted, as if the angel has a ratzon of his own, a will. What is the Torah trying to teach us why God allowed the angel to tell him now? Thank you for correcting me. To allude to Yaakov, the great, powerful potential hidden inside him, which he must use for good. Let's get back to those small vessels for a moment. What was this all about? That Yaakov went back because he left behind some small vessels. In this verse, this expression in rabbinic literature, pachim ketanim, it sounds like just insignificant, unnecessary plastic objects. His last possessions after the whole move of all his possessions. He retraces his steps and he goes back to get them. So there's a famous idea here, cited by Rashi, that the reason that he went back for these small insignificant vessels is because tzaddikim, the righteous, their property is more precious to them than their bodies. Their property is very precious to them. Why is that? Because they're cheap? Because they're possessive? Is some sort of caricature here? No. Because they don't steal. And they're so concerned about that which they gained lawfully and rightfully, because they're so careful with other people's properties. That's again a very simple level, but there's something much deeper going on here. Why Yaakov went back for these vessels? Because everything in this world, even objects, contains a spark of godliness. We're always confronting things all the time in our lives that have to be elevated, that have to be redeemed. There is an element of holiness in everything that we confront. Can we take it on? Can we confront it? Even objects contain a spark of godliness that needs to be redeemed, meaning that need to be returned to the root. And so when Yaakov kept the 613 commandments in Lavan's house, he was serving God in a huge way. But some small vessels remained, some things that he had not yet taken care of. But he didn't give up on them, not even on the smallest opportunity to bring God's light into the world. He was willing to risk it all, to risk his life, to go back again himself to the other side to redeem them. And the proof is that these vessels contained oil. And that is the oil that Yaakov set aside to pour onto the altar in Beit El, which he established on his way to Haran. When he goes back and God changes his name, he uses that oil from that night that he went back for in those little vessels to pour on that altar. But there's an even deeper lesson here, which is exquisitely beyond words. It's a very amazing tradition that little jug of oil that Yaakov went back for is the jug of oil that the Hashmonayim, the Hasmonaim priests, the Maccabees, found in the time of the Holy Temple, that bore the seal of the high priest that had not yet been defiled by the invaders. It was the same oil that Yaakov himself provided way back then for the Hanukkah miracle. So according to this idea, how could Yaakov have given up? Hashem is saying, you are willing to risk it all to bring the light into the world with this small little container. The same word, by the way, is used by our sages describing the cantor of oil. It was a pach shemen. So God said, I will personally repay your children in that time of the Chashmonaim with another small pach. But I have to ask you, why was it, to recap, that all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, in this place, where the small vessels remained, something that another person might consider insignificant, Esav's angel comes along to fight with Yaakov, to challenge him, to prevent him from crossing the river and continuing. And he crossed the Yabok. And Yaakov remained alone with a man struggling with him until dawn. This struggle between flesh and blood and an angel, as it were, a spiritual being. It's not a simple thing, and must have had a lot of ups and downs during that long night. Yaakov must have dropped that angel a few times, but he kept on getting up each time and starting all over again. And the struggle lasted many hours with no clear resolution, no clear winner. Finally, when the angel saw that he couldn't best Yaakov, wounded him in the sciatic nerve. That's another story for another time. At morning came the victory. The day dawned, a new light, a new day. And each morning all the angels sing praise to God, the creator of the world. And it was then that Esau's angel needed to extricate himself from Yaakov. He had pleaded, release me, for the day has dawned. And now he had a song to sing. Now he knew what his song was. So Yaakov agrees on one condition: I won't send you unless you bless me. And the angel agrees and blesses him, and also gives him the new name, which later God is going to substantiate himself, saying, your name shall no longer be called Yaakov, but Israel, for you prevailed with God and men. By this the angel was acknowledging that the blessings which his father Isaac blessed him are in reality his. They always were. He alludes to that fact with the name Israel. One aspect of the root of that word means sovereignty. And these blessings came to Yaakov through sovereignty and not through trickery. The nature of this fight and its purpose, despite the cloud of dust, becomes very clear to us. The dust from the constant, relentless struggle that we, each of us, must wage against evil, it threatens to cloud existence and veil our eyes from perceiving the hope of man, living his life according to the divine image in which he was created, right? The dust obscures even the throne of glory. The forces representing Esau in this world seek to obscure everything. Yet that force can be forced to sing praise to God in recognition of all the good. It all depends on our fortitude, resolve, courage, all the things we learned from Yaakov. Resolve, fortitude, courage to fight the fight, which isn't necessarily always with an external foe. Sometimes the greatest opposition of our reclaiming our divine image comes from within ourselves. Maseh avot siman lebanim. The sages teach that that which happened to the fathers, that which befell the fathers, is a sign for the children. Because Yaakov did not give up on the small things. He fought with an angel, a great power, all night long. And even though the angel wounded him, Yaakov did not give up. And ultimately, at dawn, he was victorious and subdued the angel and turned him for good, until the angel himself blessed Yaakov. This is all Ma'aseh avot siman lebanim. This is all a sign of what befalls every generation. This battle is ongoing for each and every one of us throughout the generations. The ultimate victory comes at dawn, as in the verse that we read in Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 8. Then your light shall break forth as the dawn, and your healing shall quickly sprout, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of Hashem shall gather you in.